Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. And this video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwod number 70 custom push plate. 70, and I'm going to extract it as I talk. 70 is a series of push plates from Rockwod. That specifically means that that it's going to be a piece of architectural metal. That is going to be understood as a push plate. The 70 represents not only that understanding, but also an understanding of the material thickness. If you're ordering a 70, you are for sure ordering a plate that is 0.050 thick, so 50 thousandths thick, which happens to be the same thickness as a standard kick plate. So be mindful of that. Speaking of thicknesses, they can certainly do a thicker version as well. The manufacturer can give you a plate that is 125 thousandths, an eighth of an inch thick. Those are really expensive because of the amount of, the cost of the base material, really is what it is. That's what the plate looks like. Now, you're going to notice that it's scratched and scuffed. What's scratched and scuffed is the peel-away protective film on the face of the plate. And as we pull that back, it's a pristine 612 color. 612 means three things. It means that we're dealing with a plate that is made of solid bronze, that we are dealing with a plate that has a satin finish over the bronze base material. And it also means that there is a lacquer applied as well to that finish. Okay. Now, let's take a closer look at this plate now that I've got it pulled out. That was close. The 70 is going to have beveled edges, and it won't really be very detectable on the camera, but there's a chamfer on the edge of that plate. If it wasn't chamfered, this would not be a pleasant proposition, what I'm doing with my finger. So having beveled edges on all four sides is a typical requirement for push plates. Generally in kick plates, you may not see all four edges beveled. Sometimes the bottom edge will be not beveled. Sure, why not? Why bevel the edge at the bottom? I would certainly understand that it might be advantageous to not bevel it. The bottom of that door coming in contact with anything, you'd probably want solid material there if you're going to flush it to the bottom of the door, which would be very typical, but not all the time, requirement. This happens to be a 4 and 3/4 by 24. 4 and 3/4 by 24. The camera does not really show it as satin bronze as much as I would like. It looks a bit more, you can see some of that here we go, some of that bronze tone coming through. That's what it actually looks like in real life. It doesn't look anything like satin brass. So the way that the light reflects that changes how we see it, but it is definitely satin bronze, and a more accurate reflection would be there. Going to include screws and a complementary finish. Plenty of screws, in fact, more than needed. Complementary finish on the head of the screws. They're going to be like a number, I'm going to say a number 8 by 3/4 would be that screw size. Now, being Rockwod, they can make this plate in any size that you want. We happen to bump into 4 and 3/4 by 24 relatively often, and I don't know exactly why that size is used, except that I would tell you that it's not a push plate or a stretch plate or a mop plate. It's not a stretcher plate or a kick plate or a mop plate. It's definitely a push plate. My theory is that 24 inch is really great compared to 16 inch. 16 inch would be typical for like a 7-foot door. Well, if you had an 8-foot door or a 9-foot door or a 10-foot door, you kind of want the hardware to grow in proportion with the door height, I would think. 4 and 3/4 is nice. The standard push plate width is 3.5 inch or 4 inch. I think neither of those are really big enough for the common hand, and that 4 and 3/4 is a better size. My opinion is that 6 inch would be the best size, because even my average size hands aren't completely kept within the space of the plate itself. You'll see, like in a public library. You've got a wear pattern on the outside of the door on the finish. But 4 3/4 is nice because it's a little bit larger as well. And I think as the height grows, to be proportional, so should the width. So I think what you're dealing with is a push plate requirement where you are dealing with a tall door is the bottom line. Now, speaking of the size requirement, as I was about to say, being Rockwood, they can really make this in any size you want. This is just bronze flat good is what it is. And we very routinely request from Rockwood that they manufacture for us a special size. And we use special sizes to great effect when we are trying to convert from one lock type to a different lock type in an existing door. San Francisco, a very old city with very old hardware and lots of those original older structures. Client has some locks installed on the door but wants to bring the door to the 21st century and put wireless, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi control over the door. All of a sudden that old lock's got to come off and the new lock's got to go on, but we've got all these extra holes. So I've been able to have Rockwood to great effect be able to take a plate not unlike this size and shear us a plate to the size that we need, create function holes everywhere that we need for the new lock. The size of the plate allows the client to be able to cover the old holes, and it works really superbly all the time. So Rockwood is a great company when it comes to using your imagination, using hardware as leverage to solve door hardware conflict problems outside of the realm of just needing a regular old push plate. Okay, options can be done with this. They can engrave the plate if you want push or pull. That's very common and typical. A lot of time people don't recognize how a door swings. Well, if I walk up to a door and I have no idea how it swings, I'm looking for evidence of how it swings. Where's the closer installed? How's the closer installed? That will tell me how the door swings. Where are the hinges? Well, what if I can't see them? Still don't know. Is it center hung? Well, if it is it single acting or double acting? So engraving really helps even someone who spends their time in the door hardware industry knowing how to proceed when the hardware is engraved. You'll see it in department stores. They'll have Rockwood manufacturers like maybe a 3-inch diameter plate that will say push or pull engraved, black infill letters. And it's obvious to me how the doors swing, but it's not obvious to everyone else. Now, some other options that can be done on this would be things like obviously holes for cylinders. They can do any preparation in this you want. You can order this with radiused corners or a rounded edge. They can do preparations like that. Fasteners, you can get security fasteners like a Torx head. You can bypass the fasteners altogether and have them manufacture the plate with self-adhesive tape should you want. In that case, there would not be any holes for fasteners nor fasteners included. Small upcharge for that. 4 beveled edges, again standard. These screws are number 6 by 5/8, not 8 by 3/4. 6 by 5/8. There is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure, which will give you an overview of what the Rockwood 050 plates look like. They will refer to standardized sizes with the letter after the 70, like a 70C is going to be your typical 4 by 16. Okay. We'll refer to other base materials: aluminum, brass, bronze, stainless. They can do on aluminum all the common anodized finishes, on brass all of the finishes, brass, nickel, chrome, etc. On bronze they can do oil rubbed, satin, polished bronze would be gorgeous as well. Stainless steel, they can do that. They can do 316 stainless. They can do a antimicrobial coating over stainless steel as well. They can do a polished brass lifetime finish. So lots of options. Lots of options, and Rockwood are absolutely synonymous. Powder coating. They can powder coat over stainless. You want these black? No problem. You want them white? No problem. You want them red? No problem. And there's a recent marketing release that's been done by ASA companies, your Sargents, your Rockwoods, etc., that has really begun to has really touted not only their capability of custom manufacturing, but their eagerness to entertain those requests, and that's exactly what I find when dealing with Rockwod. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Rockwod products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Rockwod 70 custom size 4 3/4 by 24 push plate or any other Rockwod product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.